to the Muslim View. We continue here at the Islamic Center of Southwest Ontario, and we have our invitees. We're talking about the hijab. What are the implications in our society nowadays that there's very, very controversial with the Islam, with the Muslim community especially. So we thought that it was good to bring up what is the hijab as the woman, the one wearing the hijab and being noticed everywhere in our streets, in our world, our normal life. And as a difference of the men, they're not, you can see a man, it could be a Muslim or not, but women always have the title just because they're wearing the hijab. So welcome to all of you. Welcome to the Muslim View to be participating in the panel that we're putting together for our viewers. And I'm going to introduce each one of you. So we're going to start from left to right on the screen. And we have Sarah Halabi. She's a PhD student in critical policy, equity, and leadership. And she has a background in social psychology. Then we have Marwa El-Kelari. Welcome to our show, Marwa.
Thank you.
And she's a registered dietitian, and also she's an Ontario Teacher Certified. Okay, now we continue with Lana El-Kadri. Welcome to our show, Lana.
Thank you.
And Lana is a business professional. She's working in the corporate world here in London, and she's deeply involved with the Islamic Center here in London. And our friend and always accompanying us in the show is Dr. Imam Jamal Taleb. Welcome to our show, Imam.
Thank you.
So, okay, so let's start. We're going to start with Sarah. Sarah is going to tell us what is the meaning of hijab. Sarah.
Well, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So I think it's really important to first start a discussion with deconstructing the term hijab and also talking about its origins, its Islamic and religious and non-religious origins. So the term hijab relative to Muslim dress for women is actually not in the Quran. Instead, actually the term khumar is in the Quran. And khumar is basically translated into English as a headdress that covers up to the woman's chest. With that being mentioned, there are also hadiths which are authentic, which discuss the hijab regarding women's dress. However, there are some Muslim women and men who sincerely believe that the hijab is not a necessary aspect of faith. With that mentioned, that Islamic scholars are all in consensus and agreement that the hijab is prescribed for women to wear. Now, taking all of that into consideration, it's a woman's choice to wear the hijab, and no, she should not be forced to either wear it or not to wear it. So, forcing a woman to wear hijab or not wear hijab goes against the one of the principles of Islam, which is sincerity. So, unfortunately, a lot of the times the hijab is basically seen as the ultimate definition of modesty in Islam. However, that is not the case. Islam places a heavy emphasis on character and behavior in regards to modesty and other forms of dress for both men and women. So that's why I dislike the term actually hijab, hijabi and non-hijabi. I prefer to stay away with it, but I often find myself using it within the community. Because when we use hijabi and non-hijabi, we're actually creating a dichotomy signifying a modest woman versus a non-modest woman. And the reality is modesty in Islam is multidimensional. So you have dress as one aspect and behavior and character as one aspect as well. So veiling, as what I would like to call it, is just one article of clothing which defines the dress code for modesty. So you'll find sometimes actually women who do not wear the hijab as more modest than a woman who does wear the hijab because she might have a more modest character. So that's why I like to stay away from the term. Now I'm just going to shortly go over the origins of the hijab, or veil rather. So it actually started from Judaism and Christianity. Until this day, Orthodox Jewish women and Orthodox Christian women still wear the hijab. not the hijab, the veil. I see I keep going back to the hijab. It's actually the veil. And in addition to that, the non-Islamic, the non-religious origins also include, in some cultures, women of high status, from high socioeconomic status, were the ones that were only allowed to wear the veil to signify their high status. And women who came from the low caste, low society, basically socioeconomic status, were not allowed to wear the veil. And keep in mind, that's a cultural aspect, not a religious. So wearing the veil there's many definitions for it, so it's important to make that clear, I think, before we get into answering the questions.
Okay, we continue the Muslim view. For all our viewers who hasn't just tuning up, we are talking about hijab and the social content that is going around in the world. So we have in our panel our invitees, Sarah Haleb, Marwa El Kalari, Lara El Kadri, and Imam Jamal Taleb. We're going to continue from talking about what is from the Islamic point, what is the prescription, how is prescribed the use of hijab. So we want to invite Imam to tell us about that.
Yeah, as we all seen that Islam is a continuous message from God after Christianity and Judaism and many religions that came before that, and it is emphasizing the real division, the devotion toward God. So how can you be devoted to God? We can see this religion, Islam, is a continuous message, and this continuous message is emphasizing how people has to act with God in terms of worship God in the appropriate manner. So that was revealed to Noah, to Solomon, to David, to Jacob, to all the prophets before the prophet of Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him. And all the prophets came with similar rules in many areas. And one of the rules that's come up to Muslims, that the issue of modesty, that the modesty being worn by women and men alike. Women were asked to wear a specific dress, and men were ordered to wear specific dress. And this is for the sake of to keep this relation devoted to God. And we can see that when we see the nuns inside the church wearing the same clothes that Muslims were asked to wear. So we can see this liaison between the religions. And also in Judaism, as we have heard from Sister Sarah, she's emphasizing on that because it's true that Islam, when we fast, when we pray, when we do our relationship with God, is not going to be cut from the tradition of Abraham, from the tradition of Solomon, from Noah, Moses, and Jesus, peace be upon all of them. And this is the indication that the prayers itself, the prayers, the fast, the giving, it's continuous devotion to God. The prophets tell us how to do that. So the women, when they wear their dress, it's part of their beliefs, and they were asked to do that from religion. It is a choice that they can choose to pray, they can choose to pay almsgiving, they can choose to fast, but religiously they are obliged to practice what the Quran told them, what the Islam told them, what the Christianity even taught to us. When people is not going to the church, religiously, they're not doing the appropriate thing, that you have to go to church, you have to devote yourself to the way of God. In Islam, also the same things, that the rules of Islam has to be practiced, because this is what God knows it's better for the humanity. He created the humanity, He created man and woman, and He knows what's better for man and woman in terms of food, in terms of dress, in terms of relationship with others. So all this was really designated in the Quran, and it's covered all this area that we can see as a Muslims. something that it is halal or not halal, that it's permissible to eat and is not permissible to eat. It's permissible act to do and is not permissible act to do. And also in the same things about dress. So this is appropriate thing that you can address, and this is not appropriate, then you cannot address. Say Islam, it's a way of life. When we say it's a way of life, it's a religion that tells us how to sleep, how to eat, how to act with our neighbor, how to act how we deal with God when we're sick, when we're in difficulty, we're in happiness. So it is a really designation for all of our lives. So in the end, that the veil, that or we call it al-jilbab or al-khimar, it is a way of Islam that we were asked to practice, and our ladies really choose it freely without any enforcement, except their devotion to God. When they do it, because they know that they have to pray, the same way they have to pray, the same way that they have to wear hijab, because they know this is a question. They will be accountable for it before God, because God told them to do something, because it's in the end is for their own benefit and for own use.
Okay, Imam, you were telling us a little bit about behind cameras. There's people who can wear the hijab in different ways. The women wear in different ways. Like there was people who put it on and off, on and off. What do you tell us about that?
It's the same. When we talk about prayer, some people pray Friday, some people they don't pray 5 daily prayers. We were asked to pray 5 daily prayers, and some people they don't fast, and we were asked to fast. And some people they wear hijab, but their hijab is not complete. But it's good. It's good. They're taking approach that's to wear the complete hijab. That's excellent. But some of them they don't. This is their own choice. Some of them they don't pray. Some of them they don't fast. And as we have mentioned, this is their choice. But again, there is an accountability. We believe that Islam asks women to wear hijab, and they have to obey that and to listen to the order of God in terms of doing it. But if they don't do it out of maybe pressures, out of outside look, because we, as you have mentioned, we're living in a time, it's a very difficult time to wear a hijab or to look as a Muslim. So they might say, it might bring me some difficulties, so they don't wear it. If they choose not to, this is their own choice, but again, it is required. Some of them, they wear it maybe on occasions when they come to the masjid, when they come to the service, and they take it out after they leave. It's fine. It's fine that they love this way and they respect the way that we wear it. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, to help them to make the right decision in their life to wear it one day if they choose to.
So after explaining to you in our past segments what is the hijab about and what's the meaning of that, we're going to talk about what is that on family. What happened with families, what happened during the growing time, how a girl, grows up in a Muslim family inside of the house. Then we'll talk a little bit about school, and then we go for our society. What is going on with the society? So, okay, Sarah, let's start talking with you. What is growing for you, growing in a Muslim family?
Each and every Muslim woman will have a different experience in the household based on many factors, right? Based on socioeconomic status, based on the culture somebody grew up in, based on a lot of factors.
How was the part of the moment when you have to wear the hijab? Or it was you were obligated by your father, it was a time your father told you, okay, from now on you have to wear the hijab, or you just, it was your choice?
It was definitely my choice. I started wearing it when I was 21, so about 7 years ago, and now you know my age. I started to learn more about Islam and other religions, and I became more spiritual. So I decided, I'm going to start wearing long sleeves and long pants first. And then I started becoming more and more spiritual, praying 5 times a day, doing all the, prescribed things about Islam. And I found myself becoming closer and closer to God. And one day, I woke up and I said, I want to wear the hijab, but I'm not going to tell anyone about it. I'm just going to wear it and go to school. And that was the first day of school. So I wore it, and I didn't know how to put it on properly, so it kept slipping off. And I felt horrible, so I decided to take it off. And then I decided again, I want to wear it. And actually, my father was against me wearing it. My dad did not want me to wear it because he said, you're going to be discriminated against, it's going to be hard to find a job, and all these things. So he wanted to avoid that hardship for me. But I said, nope, I'm going to wear it. So I actually went against what he said and decided to wear it. So the second time around, it was about 3-4 months after. So it was like in the middle of my semester. And I said, okay, I want to wear it. I had this intense feeling like I wanted to wear it. So in my mind, I said to myself, okay, you're going to wear it. You're going to feel horrible about it. But you have to keep committed because this is something you want to do. And the part that made me feel horrible was society's punishment for me wearing it. I felt like people were looking at me weird, and it might have been just a self-conscious issue, but I felt the difference too. So I decided to wear it, and for 3 months I actually was depressed for wearing it.
Oh.
And then after...
But it was your choice.
It was my choice, and it's my choice, but I felt like because my identity was changing, because now I was visibly Muslim. Before, like, I don't look Arab or Muslim without my hijab. So I became more racialized, actually, and I felt the difference, and I realized societal expectations is what made me depressed. So I wanted to overcome the societal expectations and do it for myself and not be concerned about my looks. It was more about my personality and my character. So once I was able to overcome that, I can tell you I'm a much happier person. I don't feel the need to impress people with my looks. Rather, I feel like people are more concerned with my personality and my character. So this is a great outcome for me, and it helps me with my identity of who I am as well.
Okay, so as you can see, it was her choice. But then we're going to go back later to the point that you mentioned is about how you start feeling discriminated or just finger point because of you wearing a hijab. What was your experience growing in a family, Muslim family?
Okay, so mine was different from Sarah's. As Sarah mentioned, everyone has different experiences. But I only really had my mom, and I had a younger sister. My mom put it on really late too. She put it on after her second child. So I really grew up knowing only my mom. I didn't grow up around a lot of other Muslims. So really, she was my role model, and she was looking. She never ever said you have to wear it at this time or whatever. All she said is, Marwa, you've reached puberty. As of this time, you need to think about it at some point whenever you're ready. They never said they never pressured me. It was really learning more about how to be a good person, how to not lie, to not steal, to not cheat people. So learning those first, I think, is really important in giving that healthy relationship with God. Because learning just that you have to wear it now is actually probably counterproductive.
Okay. Excuse me, interrupt here. Okay, so again, it was your choice.
Absolutely,
you would never felt forced.
No, and I have family members who did put it on at a very, very young age and then took it off because they learned how to style their hair properly. Like, I was known as the girl with the beautiful hair in school, always. I would spend hours and hours curling my hair, doing my hair, and then all of a sudden I put it on.
You are not going to see that today. So anyway, yeah. So okay, let's try to go. We're going to try to go more as the family behavior inside of the house. So you wear the hijab inside of the house. Yeah.
No, you don't.
I don't think that our society is very doesn't know what is going on inside of the house, how it works out.
Yeah, so we don't wear it in the home unless there's a stranger in the home. But at home, you wear whatever you like. You don't shower with it. You don't go to bed with it. You only really have to wear it when you're in public. Other women, you don't have to wear it in front of other women. You don't have to wear it in front of your family members, your brothers, your aunts, your uncles. But anyone who's outside of that familiar realm, you are expected to wear it in front of them. So whenever someone comes into your home, you wear it. But when when they are not in that presence, then no, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt if I wanted. Like, I can wear whatever I like.
Okay, Lena, let's go with you. So what happened in your case?
So I actually started wearing the hijab when I was 12 years old. My parents grew up in a generation where, and even though they grew up in the Middle East, where it wasn't actually common for a young woman to be wearing the hijab, it was only the seniors within the community that were wearing it. It was kind of the time in the 60s in the Middle East where there was a lot going on. There was a huge shift in terms of the culture and the way that people were thinking, and so my parents came to Canada, and my mom started wearing the hijab properly here in Canada. But they were also very, my mom believed strongly in it, and they taught us a lot of Islamic values growing up. And so when I did decide that I wanted to wear the hijab when I was 12 years old, they were very supportive of that. My older sister was wearing it at the time, and so she was kind of my role model, and it was a very easy transition for me. I do remember that growing up, I would get a lot of questions about it, especially from kids. Sometimes I'd be bullied about it. But I don't think that it was any different than the experience that a lot of other kids have in schools and that type of thing. With that said, though, I have 4 younger sisters who don't wear the hijab, and they've kind of taken a different route at the moment. I think they all realize that it's something that they have to do, but at the moment, either they don't feel ready for it, or it just doesn't. I don't think that they've developed that as being part of their identity. We still do adhere by, a certain modest dress in our household. So the girls, they wear whatever they want at home, but once they leave the house, there's certain things that they are allowed to wear, or that for themselves even, that they will wear and won't wear. So we do get a lot of support from my family in terms of adhering to a proper Islamic dress code, but they often do kind of what they want as well, and I think they put restrictions on for themselves in terms of what they can or can't wear.
Okay, now this is going to take a few days, I think, in order to finish this panel and to get into deep conclusions, but roughly we are talking what is being a Muslim woman and wearing a hijab. Now we're going to go and talk, after this break, we're going to talk about what happened in our society where the problem is a big, big problem. Will you?